What time your phone going?
7:59.
Okay, cool. I don't know if it shows up on my page right now or not.
I'm looking. I'm on your Facebook now. It's not on Facebook.
Like refresh it and see if it comes up.
Yeah, no. I
See if you can share it. It lets you share it. Okay, and then if you want to go live, you can go live too. And they usually just sit right there, or they sit it right here, or right there. By the way, we didn't prepare because I know you're brilliant, so I don't have to give
sent
you
it to you,
questions.
but I'm cool.
No, I'm saying questions.
I'm good.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. I know you know what you're talking about, so I didn't have to coach you and tell you what we're going to talk about and stuff like that. Good morning, Baton Rouge and surrounding areas. Thank you so much for tuning in. You are listening to What's Going On with Dr. James Gilmore every Tuesday and Thursday, 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. right here on WTQT FM, 106.1 FM. My name is Dr. James Gilmore, and you are listening to What's Going On, where we talk about what's going on in our city, in the community, in the state, and across the world. Again, thank you so much for tuning in every Tuesday and Thursday morning. I am continuing my series of discussions with black professionals, black businesses in the Baton Rouge and surrounding area. This has been an exciting series of shows over the past couple of months. We've talked with some great minds, brilliant minds, great businesses that offer great products and services. And today is a special episode of this show. I am speaking with two professionals that are in the mental health and social services area. They are black professionals in our community. We are a community just like any other community that oftentimes we may need to seek out mental health or social services, especially during 2020 when many of us have had to deal with the trauma of COVID-19. Many of us are still dealing with and surviving from the great flood of 2016. And we've had many other traumatic episodes and events in our community here in Baton Rouge. And so I want to encourage others that if you are feeling down and out sometime or depressed or have anxiety, it's okay to seek out assistance. It's okay to seek out someone who can help support you overcome those challenges. And today I have two guests. My first guest is someone I've known for decades, literally, from our time in school. And I'm so glad that Shawn is here. Shawn, good morning to you, and thank you so much for coming on my show.
Good morning. Thank you for coming, for inviting me and having me here.
Yeah, we've been trying to get together for a year or two, and so glad we're able to connect.
Years and years, because you're so busy.
No, you're busy. You're busy. And let's talk about your busyness. Shawn, give the folks, you got a lot of letters behind your name, give the listening audience and Facebook viewers a little bit about who you are, where you're from, where you went to school, your educational background, certificate background, and in the name of your company.
Okay. I'm originally from Thibodaux, Louisiana.
Thibodaux, all right.
T-Town. I've been in Baton Rouge since '95, like literally the day after graduation. I've been in Baton Rouge since.
Mm-hmm.
I got my undergraduate degree in rehab counseling from the Southern University.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
I also got my master's degree in mental health counseling from the Southern University.
Oh, wow. So we have degree programs right here at Southern University.
Yes, absolutely.
In mental health counseling and the rehab counseling. So let's give a plug. If you are interested in that field of work, do consider Southern University. You can get your undergrad and your master's in the field of counseling.
Yes, and various types of counseling and different psychological studies to give back and do what you have to do. But definitely getting that degree from HBCU local is great.
Good. And that's where I met Shawn, for you all to know. We started Southern and finished Southern around the same time.
Yes.
So tell us about your certifications and your all those letters behind your name, and explain what they are.
So I am a LPCS, that is a licensed professional counselor supervisor. If anybody is trying to get their credentials, I can actually supervise them before they take their test and after. I also have LMFT, that is a licensed marriage and family therapist, and I'm a national certified counselor, that's NCC. Okay,
then. So you're licensed in all these areas, and I see the specializing in marriage and family counseling. So again, we have an African American expert and professional right here in the community. All of us, sometime in our life, may need a marriage or family counselor. And Shawn is someone that you should definitely consider. How long have you been working in this field?
So I've been working in the field since '95, actually, and been licensed since 2007.
Okay. And what type of work experiences have you had in the area of mental health counseling and rehab?
Community-based counseling, dealing with kids that have autism, ADD, ADHD, any kind of behavioral issues, adults and kids. I've done PHP, which is partial hospitalization programs, which are with adults that suffer with acute psychiatric illnesses. I've worked in nursing home. I've been a director of a nursing home before, social services. I have worked with substance abuse persons. I've worked with adults who have issues with transitioning back from after maybe going through life experiences, losing a job, divorce, and not really understanding how to settle and start over. It's a lot of various areas, but basically just a lot of the social services needs of mental health in itself. Mental health looks different for everybody. And so it could be family issues that's overlapping to a marriage. It can be a child who is not really understanding why they're thinking or acting the way they think, and that influences parents who may not understand how to take care of their child. So mental health can hit us very different.
Wow. And by the way, her name is Shawn Joseph. I wanted to give her full name. I call her Shawn. Okay, but Shawn Joseph. Let's talk about 2020.
2020.
Yes.
It's been a year.
It's been a year for all of us.
Yes.
I'm sure you've seen an uptick in the need for services during 2020. How are we doing? How are the people in 2020 doing?
Unfortunately, in COVID, I did have a spike of referrals. My practice did grow in 2020 because a lot of people understand something is not right. I think being at home and really hitting home and facing problems that was probably already there, being with loved ones 100%, not really having to go to work and go to school. Being with loved ones 100%,
and what that means is being at home all day with your family due to people being quarantined. Kids at school,
not going to school, working from home. That was a lot for a lot of people. I did get a lot of adults who just they couldn't cope with working at home.
Right.
We like to get up and get dressed, and we need the camaraderie sometimes of the office. But just being able to leave from your bedroom to go to the kitchen, or go from your bed to your bed, because some people, their office is the bed.
Right.
And not understanding that transition is really needed. to be able to function day to day. I tell a lot of people, if you're working from home, still get dressed and just go in another part of your house. It does help kind of shake off the monotony of the same pattern every day, and you can get into a slump of depression, not having anything else to do, someone always needing you. We as parents and moms, we always are in need, but then somebody's always tugging on us more and more if we're at home. So actually go through the whole rigmarole of getting your house up, doing breakfast, getting the kids to in another room if they're doing homeschool, and actually going in the room and focusing as if you were in your office or at your cubicle or whatever you do at work.
Let's talk about parenting. Very good points for those who work from home. I've worked from home for 15 years, so I love it. But I can understand someone having to adjust to it. Especially with COVID. Let's talk about parenting.
It's different.
How are our parents doing?
I'm a parent. It's different. To see my child have to get up and go in my dining room and go to school versus get up and get dressed and go, it's a lot. He's taking it like a champ, but I know he's missing his friends. They play, of course, play video games all the time, so they're talking to each other, but it's a lot. Those kids need those social skills, and
they need the social interaction.
And for me as a parent who is an extrovert, and my child was an introvert, but now he's even more of an introvert, it does.
Do you worry about that?
I do. And I know a lot
as
of other parents do.
You
Yeah,
worry
we have
about
conversations.
the effect of the coronavirus quarantine is going to have on your child long term?
Absolutely. A lot of parents, just friends, girlfriends that I talk to, or even some of my clients, I have taken on more family units this last couple of months, and people just not understanding how to help their kids. This is our norm for probably another year or so.
Right.
And so we have to understand we need to get our own specification for our house for what is going to be our new normal.
You said our own specification. Unpack that for me. Are you saying, and again, you know, I don't have all the letters here, but I know. Are you saying everybody needs to put together a plan of how we're going to survive this COVID thing? Correct. Is that what you're saying?
At some shape or form of time, everybody should have a plan in their home. My plan may not be the same thing for your.
How to cope, how to interact.
Correct. If I am doing what I'm doing, coming home, fixing dinner, that kind of thing is one thing. Right before COVID, but now when I come home, immediately I'm changing clothes at the back door. Not even going to embrace my child or my husband. Immediately going to take a shower, doing what we need to do, and then coming back and saying, okay, how was your day? What you gotta do today? Do you have homework? Let's cook, let's wash clothes, that kind of thing. I think for some people, because it's going to be our new norm, you have to understand the monotony of your house. I have a 13-year-old. Some people have young kids. Family dinners are going to be more important now than ever.
You hear that, America? Family dinners are more important now than ever during this COVID time. Ms. Shawn Joseph has emphasized that that's something that I think as families we've lost and that we have to bring back, especially during this COVID time. And why are family dinners so important too? Good mental health and good family love and interaction. Why are family dinners important?
Thought process. It is very important to process thoughts, how you're feeling, what you thought about today. One thing in particular, I try to make sure that we do this. Sometimes we can't. Sometimes I'm guilty of it, but it's important that you ask kids not to bring the cell phones to table. If you're working on something, actually take 30 minutes to just enjoy your meal without the cell phone, without an iPad, without a laptop. You're missing times. You're missing moments.
What about all the time? I had some kid entrepreneurs on the radio show Tuesday.
Yeah.
They love video games. And I can't blame them because I remember being their age, but I promise you, I don't remember spending as much time. I did go outside and ride my bike, and we did play football across the street and basketball. You know, but now I look at my niece and nephew. Well, not my niece. She's more addicted to the Instagrams and the social media. My nephew, oldest nephew, he's more addicted to the video gaming. How is that affecting our family households as it relates to how kids interact with their parents and parents interact with their kids. Because I must admit, I know some parents, friends, family of mine, that's a good way to know where they are and not have to worry about them. My mama, she does not bother my nephew. Well, you know why? Because she know he in the house and he back there in the video game. Well, make him come out, huh? Isn't it good for him to come out sometime?
It's good.
Let's talk about that.
It's good for him to come out. I am doing that with my son. I understand they have nothing to do. I get it, and we sometimes have to pick the battle. We do know where they are. They're safe. They're in the room. They're talking. However, that video game is still a computer, still social media, and we still do have predators. So it's very important that I tell parents, sometimes go in there and sit and look through what they're doing, who they're talking to, especially if they're one that are gamers that talk to other people. But at the same time, that child also could feel isolated if the parent forgets about them during the day, that they're back there, and not ask them to come out and eat lunch or come walk down the street or get out of the house at some point. If you are a parent that works from home and your child is at home who is homeschooling or doing virtual learning, make it a point to set a time either before a class starts, on their break, because they do get a break, or after, and get them to go ride the bike, go walk, even if you have to go run to the store or run through a drive-through in line, just to have conversation and to continuously have that monotony of what is going on in their minds.
Okay. So just go through a drive, for lunch, take them on a drive-through Chick-fil-A or McDonald's or somewhere.
Something.
To have that interaction.
To get them out of the house, to get that vitamin K that we need. We need that, vitamin D. We need that air, that sun. Just so they cannot feel sheltered. Right. Or trapped. I've had a kid tell me that they feel trapped because they are home doing virtual school. And that's a lot to take in. Yeah, and as parents, sometimes we can't just say, get over it, you need to go do your schoolwork. You really have to pay attention. Absolutely.
Two things I want to talk about before you go. One is we live in a very high crime-ridden nation. Let's just call it what it is. Right here in our own backyard, crime has increased this year, and there are correlations, I'm sure, to COVID and to quarantine and to people losing their jobs due to COVID or being laid off. What are your advice, Ms. Shawn Joseph? Again, she is a Black professional in counseling here in our city that I highly encourage you all to seek out if you're dealing with anything, Ms. Shawn Joseph. But back to my question, what do you recommend, or what are your thoughts on dealing with the loss of a loved one? Because we've had people that I know, and people that I know have had loved ones to die of COVID, gun violence, domestic violence. It's all a real reality this year. It's always been here, death, of course, but seems like this year has been even more traumatic. What advice do you give to folks that have to deal with the loss, even if it's unexpected or expected? What are some thoughts on the loss of loved ones?
Seek help.
Seek help.
A lot of us feel like we'll do it on ourselves. We'll do it within ourselves, or we'll do it with the family. We as the Black community, it's always been a stigma not to talk to a therapist, or they don't know what they're talking about, or they're quack doctors, or whatever the case may be. But we have to get out of that mindset, because as you see, everything is real right now. And if 2020, I tell some of my friends, if 2020 has not done anything for us, it has made us reform, renew, and be aware of everything. And it's okay to talk to somebody about an issue.
Missing someone. I cried about my daddy yesterday. He's been dead 6 years.
Right, and like my dad's been dead 7 years. So it is okay to actually miss somebody and have that connection and feel an emotional tie. It doesn't make you less than a man, or that you're not macho, or make you a punk, or whatever. You have to process those feelings, because they will come out in the wrong way. Verbally, you may attack somebody, or you may say something to somebody at work or in public that could turn into something violent or criminal, or whatever the case may be. But talking to somebody is better than having those emotions just build, and then they burst. And how, pressure bust pipes. So when things come out, it come out sometimes the wrong way. therapy is not what people make it to be. It's not a mean concept to get in somebody's business. Therapy is just like you and I are doing right now. You are asking me a question, we are processing, we are talking. Some people are traditional.
I do. I feel like I'm in therapy right now. Yeah. Shawn is fantastic. I'm sitting there like, again, I've referred people and bragged about her for decades because she's my friend and I know her personally as a great human being. But I feel like I'm in therapy right now. She's an expert in counseling because she's giving me a little therapy right now.
But I actually, I try to talk to my clients like I'm talking right now because everybody doesn't deserve to be badgered if they come to counseling. Counseling should be a wonderful experience for you to be able to come to a safe place to just relax. Or, you know, like Whitley say, relax, release.
Yeah.
You know, that is what
for those of you all that are our age, you know that quote and what she means when she says, Whitley says, relax, relate, and release.
You should be able to be yourself and to be able to get better. Therapy is just about taking care of yourself. And on my website, I always have a hashtag, mentally take care of you. And
mentally take care of you.
And that is something that's very important. You mentally have to take care of yourself before you can take care of your child, your husband, your neighbor, anybody.
So let's talk about this in closing, and then I want you to tell folks how they can reach you, Shawn Joseph, to get some support mentally, emotionally. I want you to tell folks, but one of the barriers, not only is it, looked down upon because we think, again, if you have to go see a counselor in our community, then something, you're crazy. But it's the money. So how do folks pay for mental health services? Because to be honest with you, I worked in Meadowwood Hospital and I've supported patients when I was a tech, but I never thought about at that age, how do they pay for it? Now that I'm older, I've learned that some insurance may cover, some may not, Medicaid, Medicare, private pay. So if a person musters up the courage to say, okay, I want some help in dealing with my issues, how do they pay for it?
So most insurances do pay for individual counseling. Some insurances do pay for family counseling, not a lot. If somebody calls and they inquire about the levels of counseling, I do provide individual for kids, 6 to 99 for adults. But insurance is Medicaid. Most commercial insurances, some commercial insurances do not cover family, so that would probably be out of pocket to a lot of therapists in town. Some do cover family as far as couples. Some don't. Okay. Medicaid, every Medicaid insurance does cover individual counseling. Okay. It's up to about 2 sessions a month, sometimes 3, just depending on the insurance that you have. Most commercial insurances are twice a month as well. Some are once a week. It just depends on the plan that you have. But feel free to reach out.
Give them your website and give them your phone number. I am highly recommending this young black professional mental health counselor in our community right here in Baton Rouge, Shawn Joseph. Give folks your website as well as your phone number on how they can contact you for counseling and support. Okay,
so my number is area code 225-397-5706. My website is www.mentallytakecareofyou.com, all together. On Facebook, you can find me as Gordon and Gordon Counseling and Consulting LLC. And a lot of times I'll share all of my information from my business page to my personal page, which is Shawn Joseph. So again, the website is www.mentallytakecareofyou.com.
And your phone number one more time?
Area code 225-397-5706.
Thank you so much, classmate. I'm so proud of you and all that you've done over the decades. You made me so proud. Fellow Southern University graduate, you 2 times graduate, and keep up the great work healing our community. To listening audience and Facebook audience, please look up Shawn Joseph, and don't be embarrassed to seek out that counseling and mental health assistance, and she'll work with you in navigating the insurance companies and things like that to get it paid for, including Medicaid and things like that. Well, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you.
I look forward to working with you more in the future.
Same here.
Okay, all right. Yes, listening audience, this has been a great episode. Again, I feel like I've been counseled. I appreciate the discussion about how to cope with loss, how to cope with COVID-19, how to cope with COVID-19, how to cope with being quarantined. You know, we're living in tough, different times nowadays, and so let's seek out help. And we have Shawn Joseph right here in our community that is more than willing to provide mental health and counseling services. And she's a 2-time graduate of the Southern University. Now I have someone that I just met today. Oh, you got something in your hand?
Yes.
Oh, you brought me a gift.
Yes.
Thank you so much. It's a heavy gift.
Some stress relief in there.
Oh, okay. I have Myisha Joseph in the studio with me, everyone. Myisha Joseph. In case you're trying to look her up on Facebook, it's Myisha Joseph in the studio with me, and she is a licensed clinical social worker. Myisha is a licensed clinical social worker, and she's in my studio today to continue the discussion about how to cope with everyday life, especially in 2020 with so much going on, and how to seek out the social services and support that you might need. And so I'm glad that we have a licensed social worker in the studio, and she brought me a gift. I love this. She brought me Stress Relief by Bath & Body Works Eucalyptus and Spearmint. What is this? A luxury bath. Thank you so much for that gift,
You're welcome.
Miss Myisha Joseph. And she also brought me, what, a t-shirt?
Yes, with Beverly's Loving Hands, and it has my information on the back of the shirt.
Okay, so let's talk about this. Tell us who you are, where you're from, where you went to school, and then tell us about Beverly's Loving Hands.
Okay.
And I love the fabric.
Thank you.
Yeah,
That's
okay.
on Falasia. That's her name. Yeah, Falasia Creation. She made them.
Okay,
for
very
me.
nice, very nice.
I graduated from Southern with my bachelor's degree, and I graduated from Southern University in New Orleans with my master's degree.
Okay, and what are those degrees in?
Social work.
Social work.
Yes,
Okay,
yes,
great,
yes,
great,
social
great.
work.
And how long have you been a licensed clinical social worker?
I've been a licensed clinical social worker since 2018.
Okay.
It took me a couple of times to pass that test.
That's okay, but you did it.
But I did it.
You were persistent in doing it.
Yes.
So I'm going to ask you very similar questions, except from a licensed social work perspective. How are we doing here in 2020? And what are some of the biggest challenges of clients that you see who come to you for service, or who you're contracted with to provide social services to?
I see a lot of anxiety and depression due to the COVID, but not only just the COVID, but just everyday life.
Mm-hmm.
We're working with my clients. I always tell them, like, my motto is like, life happens.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's all on how you deal with it, how you handle it, and pick yourself up due to the anxiety, due to the depression.
Mm-hmm.
I don't just work with adults, I work with kids as well,
Mm-hmm.
with ADHD, oppositional defiance disorder, and we have a lot of kids that are depressed as well.
Really?
Working with them, and some kids, they don't even know why they're depressed.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I work with my clients and like, so what's going on? And they're like, I can be happy one minute, and then all of a sudden, I'm sad.
Well, I was about to ask you that. Tell me, what are signs or symptoms or things that we should look out in ourselves as it relates to depression, and things that maybe parents should look out in their kids? What are things one should look for, or what does one feel how do you know when you may be depressed?
When you're isolating, you don't want to be bothered.
Okay, that's me. But okay.
Don't want to be bothered. Sometimes you get annoyed with people. You snap on them.
Okay.
You know, that's depression.
I'm 3 for 3.
Yeah, okay. Look, we all have it. You know, it all depends on how we handle it. You know, that's the thing, because you know, sometimes I may have a small case of depression. I'm sad about something.
And you just want to isolate yourself.
Don't want to be bothered. Easily annoy you. You know, and how they say, get on your nerves.
Right.
That's what they say, they getting on my nerves.
And so the depression may be, I know, and again, that's probably most of America who deal with these first 3 symptoms or signs that you mentioned. But it's when you have those feelings every day.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? When they are consistent.
Right.
When weeks and weeks people get on your nerves, or you want to isolate, or you feel annoyed, or you feel sad.
Mm-hmm.
Then that is where you should make some seek out
help
Beverly's loving
just to
hands.
see what, and that's what I do. They come in, I talk to them, I assess them. Basically, that's what it is, assess. But it's basically, you're talking to them, seeing what's going on. And when they're telling you the symptoms, you're like, you're diagnosing. That's what we do. We diagnose them. We can't prescribe medication because sometimes counseling and medication go hand in hand sometimes. Some people need the medication. Some people don't. Some people are against taking medication. So they want to see, okay, I want to see what the counseling does first. So
absolutely.
Come up with a plan, different things to motivate them to get out of their depression, or when you're feeling like you're in their depression, what are you going to do? The techniques and skills.
Okay. So you give people techniques and skills to
right.
When they sense that today is going to be a day of depression, how to snap.
How to do it. What I'm going to watch a movie, a happy movie. I'm going to go take me a jog. See, I'm not jogging nowhere. I walk, but not jogging. But
I hear that exercising is good for
eating better. And a lot of people, they're stressed or the depression and anxiety because they don't know how to tell people no. I find that a lot. They're trying to please other people that they get overwhelmed and they don't know how to tell people no.
Right. And why don't people know why is it difficult for people to tell folks no?
Because they want to please others and they're not worried about pleasing themselves.
Your personality type is one that pleases others.
Yes.
What does anxiety look like? When someone has anxiety, what does that look like?
Worried a lot.
Now wait a minute, I'm 3 for 3 on depression.
Okay,
so
let's see
what anxiety looks like.
Basically with anxiety, you're worrying a lot.
So I'm thankful I don't worry about it.
You worry a lot. You stress a lot. You're worried about the future, what's going to happen in your future. Even though, like some of my younger kids, they're young, but they're worrying about something way in the future, like how's my future going to be?
Right.
So
they're in middle school or high school stressing about
the future. Or stressing about financial hardships that their parents are going through. A lot of them are worried about adult situations.
So wait, let's back up with this now, okay? Again, because that's interesting what you say. You say there are kids and teenagers who part of their anxiety and depression in life maybe just worried about mamas and daddy, their mama and daddy situation.
Right.
Wow.
Right.
So worrying about whether mom and daddy can pay the bills.
Right.
Worrying about whether mom and daddy are going to get a new job.
Right.
So kids take on that stress.
They take on their stress. And my thing is, and I tell parents, don't ignore that because kids will think that's why a lot of like suicide with kids. Because they feel like, well, if I'm not here anymore, they won't have the worry of taking care of me.
Wow.
We have kids that feel that way, and you have to talk, and we have to talk to them and let them know, your parent would not, if you do that to yourself,
it only adds
stress to your parents, if you do that.
Wow.
Yeah. So I've come across that many of times with kids that feel like if I'm not here anymore,
my parents
won't have to
one less mouth they gotta feed.
Yes.
One less school clothes they gotta buy.
Yes.
Wow.
Thinking they're a burden on their parents.
Parents, let's not allow our children to feel as if they are our burden.
Right.
What you're saying.
Right.
And also, how do parents? Because it's human nature. When you live in the same household. Now, again, this is a therapy session for me and maybe you and Shawn. I'm gonna come sit on y'all couch and pay y'all some money. But how does a parent that's dealing with those everyday stressors, stress at work, they're probably in a stressful relationship, how do you hide it from your kids when you're in the household? Because the kids are going to hear you fussing. My mom and dad fussed all the time, and I heard them. Kids are going to hear when you say, I can't afford to pay this bill. Kids are going to hear when you say, we're not going to be able to afford something for Christmas, or can't afford a PS3 or whatever, Xbox or whatever the kids want. They're going to hear that.
Right.
So what are some recommendations you give parents so that when you live in the same household, you don't place those stressors and those burdens in a place to where your kids take them on? How do you do that?
Well, basically, as far as like with the arguing or something like that, like try to remove yourself out the home to go in the car and argue.
Let's go outside.
Go outside. Let's go in the car. Let's take a ride. Okay. Not a ride, because we don't want to take a ride and argue. But just maybe we go, or maybe we need to learn ways to cope and not argue and communicate and talk, so it won't look as it's an argument. Yelling at each other, we're having a conversation.
Yeah, write down your messages.
Write down.
You
text me.
Sick.
Text me. Let's do this. Text message.
If you got my money, you gotta give it back to me right now. That's right. Because parents are going to argue. Parents are going to have problems. Mm-hmm. Oftentimes, they don't think that the child's in the next room.
Listening, but they are there because you're loud enough for them to listen. You're loud enough for them to listen. But just basically having a conversation and not so the kids won't think it's an argument. We're just having a conversation. But the thing is, they say communication is important, but you gotta communicate, but you also gotta comprehend their communication. Right. Because it could go in one ear and out the other.
So Beverly's Loving Hands, that's the name of your company.
Well, and the only thing, and people think when they see Beverly's Loving Hands, they think it's a big company, and it's not. It's actually just in honor of my mother. Okay. She's been deceased since 2007.
So let me just say this to you. It is a big company.
Well,
with the work with the work that you're doing, you're having a big impact.
Yes, okay? Yes.
So it's not. It doesn't matter how much money in the account. It doesn't matter about how many office suites you got. Right. You're making a big impact. Absolutely. So it is a big company. Yes. So it's named after your mother.
It's named after my mom because she was like my mom. She was a sponsor for recovering addicts because my mom was a recovering addict, and I had to share Miss B. That's what they got, Miss B. I had to share Miss B with everybody, and I didn't mind because they loved Mama B, Miss B, Mama B, whatever they call it. Gotcha. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna name it after my mom. Wonderful. So that's how.
And what services do you offer? And I'm reading, I don't have my glasses. What services do you offer?
Okay, I actually do general mental health, and I do court order services if, a court needs someone to have counseling. I do contracting also with companies where I do assessments because they have to have a licensed clinical social worker or LPC like Shawn is to, do the assessment, sign off on the assessments. I work with people with ADHD, depression, anxiety, schizophrenia, bipolar. I mean, I do it all basically. Anger management, stress management, employee assistance programs. I do it all. I work because I've been around for a while. I was working at Angola for a couple of years. Working with so I work with all populations basically, different populations.
And how does one reach out if they would like some of your licensed clinical social work services? How do they reach you?
Okay, they can contact me at 225-279-4693, or they can send me an email at blhands@yahoo.com.
Okay. Beverly's Loving Hands, a licensed social worker specializing in general mental health and court-ordered services, post-traumatic stress disorder, depression, mood disorders, family therapy, anger management. Again, black listening audience, and all listening audience, it's okay to seek out a social worker or a mental health counselor if you're going through a lot, if your family's going through a lot, and you just need some assistance. How Shawn talked about how her services are paid for. How does one? Because sometimes we know, money can be a reason why we don't go and seek assistance. So, how does one pay for your services?
Okay, basically Medicaid pays for it. I'm credentialed with all the Medicaids. I take some commercial insurances like Blue Cross Blue Shield, Cigna, Aetna, and I do private pay. I think I would say that I don't charge as much as some people for the services if someone wants to do private pay, because I know, no one's trying to pay. Yeah. So I don't try. I don't try to stick it to them.
Yeah, you already need mental health assistance, and and it may be because you're broke, that's why you're depressed. So you don't try to pile it on top of them by adding more costs. Okay, so listening audience, we've had Shawn Joseph on, and now we have Miss Beverly. Miss Myisha On my show this morning with Beverly's Loving Hands, licensed clinical social worker and licensed mental health counselor. If you need some assistance coping, if you've been through a lot in 2020, you've been through a loss and any other things, please seek out the social service and mental health assistance. Give them your number one more time, Myisha.
Okay, 225-279-4693.
And again, 2 licensed professionals right here in the Baton Rouge community that are more than willing to provide you with assistance you need to cope with life and to overcome any type of mental health or social service barriers. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for my gifts.
Oh, no problem.
T-shirts.
The stress relief works, I'm telling you.
Okay, you've been amazing.
Okay, thank you.
Alrighty. Now, the next person coming in to the show isn't a license in mental health or social work, but he offers services that can relieve some stress from your life. Okay? So I kind of brought you in today because though you aren't licensed in those fields, what you do can provide a lot of assistance, especially to folks that might have a busy life. You might have kids, you might have multiple jobs, you might run companies, and what you offer, again, can really help people cope. And I don't know if you look at your company that way, but I know when I looked at the services, I said, wow, if I can get Mr. Cedric Septs to do some of these things on his service list, that will eliminate a lot of stress off of me, and I can focus on other things in life. So, talking to the mic, and let's introduce who you are, Mr. Cedric, your name, where you're from, your background, and a little bit about your company.
All right, I am Cedric Septs, originally from Zachary, Louisiana.
Okay, all right.
Class of '92.
Oh, you went to Zachary High?
I went to Zachary High.
Okay,
yeah, I did.
All right.
Actually, I went to Grambling too after that.
Well, that's okay. You're probably only my second Grambling guest, but congratulations, another fellow HBCU. When did you finish Grambling?
97.
Okay. All
97.
right.
After that, did a little stint in the military, and my background's actually in chemistry and biology, and I did that for 16 years. I worked at Pfizer in Michigan, and then down here at Honeywell.
Okay, wow. So you got a pretty diverse background.
Yeah, I'm a little bit all over the place.
That's
man.
okay. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. Utilizing all your talents.
Definitely.
Absolutely. So tell us about your company, because I thought it was, again, I thought it was quite interesting when I looked at the list of services that you have to offer. What's the name of your company?
The name of the company is Red Stick Bespoke. Red Stick, obviously, after Baton Rouge, and bespoke is just a fancy word that means custom. It means tailored to.
Okay.
So the services that I provide, it could be anything from simply running errands. It could be taking your car to get service.
Yes.
I mean, you talked about that.
Yep, we talked about that. Sometimes you're just too busy.
Right.
I mean, let me just tell you, a stress that I've had in my life, and don't listening audience, don't laugh at me. I'm a pretty transparent person. For the past 2 weeks, I know I needed a tire.
Right.
Every morning I get up with my little Harbor Freight air pump, plug it in, and I plug it up to pump my tire up every couple of days, knowing, James, you need to go get this tire changed.
Right.
Okay, but being so busy in life, changing that tire just wasn't top priority.
Right, because it's going to take an hour, maybe hour and a half out of your day, and if you have a full schedule, you can't get to that.
I got
right.
elections to help to help manage, and I got studies to do, and I got deadlines to meet, and so I just got up for 2 weeks and I just pumped that tire myself, you know, but knowing this is crazy.
And eventually it's going to get to a point where the pump not going to work.
Yeah, so, exactly. Or the tire's going to pop, and then my whole life is messed up. Okay, it could be. So it's just those type of things. I think. You know, and I've had Myisha and Shawn on the show, but from my experiences with my peers, there's a lot of stress in just day-to-day life doing things.
Right, and especially like you two guests before me, they were talking about with COVID, with the pressures of that, and then having to manage your life, and then the things that everybody has to deal with, like going to the DMV, which I had to do a couple days ago. Things like that can really put stress on you. It makes everything else you have to do a little more difficult.
Right. So run that list down. You sent me a list. I can't look at it, but run that list down. Okay. Tell us more about the services. So errand running.
Errand running.
That's dropping my clothes off on the cleaners.
Right. It could be the cleaners. It could be like you say, taking your car to get service. It could be me helping you plan a birthday party or a child's party.
Okay.
It could be me helping you plan a vacation. And that's what a bespoke portion of the name comes
concierge service.
Right, because it could be literally anything as long as it's legal
Yeah.
and ethical. Right.
Yeah, right.
I can help you do just about anything.
Okay. Tell me about some of the clients that you've had. You don't have to mention any names. And what services have you provided to them?
Yeah.
What you think consider unique that some folks might go, oh, you know what? I need that.
Yeah, I've done things from simply I've dog sat. I've helped meal prep. I've grocery shopped. I've helped somebody find a housekeeper. Yeah, I've done grocery shopping, things like that. Yeah.
So if you need someone to go grocery shopping for you.
Right. Anything that'll help alleviate some stress out of your life and give you some of the time you need to do the things you want to do, like spending time with your family, or things you got to do at work. So anything that you need covered.
Like right now, I need paper for my printer. So hey, run to Office Depot.
Exactly.
I need some paper.
Exactly.
Wow.
Yeah, you holler at me, and I take care of that for you.
Okay. Yep. So now you can't do all this by yourself.
No.
Okay. So you have people that help you with.
Yes. Right now, the company is me, and I contract out anything that I can't handle myself. So I'm pretty mobile. And if there's things like
in the Baton Rouge area,
I am, and out of New Orleans too.
Okay.
Yeah, New Orleans. Yeah. So yeah, anything that I can't handle, I'm able to contract it out to get people to help me do it. So yeah.
So what made you decide to start this concierge service where you help people with their everyday life errands and routines by getting them done? What made you decide to come up with this concept?
I found myself being kind of the go-to person for family and friends whenever they needed something, needed help with something.
So you were the person, as Shawn said, or Myisha said, that doesn't say no.
Right.
So if somebody called you and said, I need you to go do this,
right,
you were the person that says, okay, I'll do it.
I need help with this. I need help fixing this TV. I need help setting this computer up. And I found myself doing things like that. And I enjoy, being that stopgap for people. So
you enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it. I enjoy helping.
Wow.
And so so I figured out how can I serve, and I enjoy this, and I figured I might as well turn this into a business.
So I think that's amazing. We have an African American male here that, again, and we've always heard that if you do what you like for a living, it's not really work, it's fun.
Right, exactly.
So we have a brother here in the Baton Rouge and surrounding area that enjoyed just helping family and friends when they called him needing something.
Right.
Come move a couch or whatever it may be. And he's turned that into a business. So now he has a concierge service that if there are things that you need to get done, just give him a call and he can do it for you.
Right.
And I'm assuming you all sit and you talk about how does it work? Do you sit and do a consultation?
Exactly.
Here are the 5 things I hate doing. I hate going to the cleaners. I hate getting a tire changed. I hate going into Walmart. I hate grocery shopping.
Well, especially these days, people don't want to go into Walmart if they can help it with COVID and having a mask up and having to use gloves and all that kind of stuff. So I take those chances for you.
So I just say these are things that I like for you to consider doing for me.
Right.
And then you look at it and make sure it's all legal and ethical.
Exactly.
And then you give me a quote.
I give you a quote. We sell by blocks of time, so you could buy 5, maybe 10 hours if you want to do it like that. Or I do a la carte by the hour. So it just kind of depends on what it is you need done. And then we sit down and we chop it up and we figure out what'll work best for you, and then we go ahead and go from there.
Y'all, I think this is amazing. I think this is amazing.
I think so too.
And how long have you had the company? I don't know if I've
about 3 years. About 3 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So give the listening audience your name, your company name, as well as your phone number or website or social media. If you need help with everyday life routines like running errands, grocery shopping, planning birthday parties, whatever it may be, to kind of eliminate some of the stressors that you may have in your life, there is a concierge service here offered by Mr. Cedric Septs that you can take advantage of. And again, nowadays we live such busy lives and have so many things on our to-do list. It can help us mentally and emotionally if we did business with this brother and paid him to take some of those stresses away.
Right.
So how does one reach out to you or find you if they're interested in your services?
I have a website, redstickbespoke.com.
And that's BESPOKE, redstickbespoke.com.
Right. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Facebook and Instagram and LinkedIn too.
Okay.
All under the business name at Red Stick Bespoke.
Okay, everything's under Red Stick Bespoke.
And there's a telephone number 225-286-7080. You can reach me there too.
Repeat it one more time.
225-286-7080.
Okay. Well, anything else you want to tell listening audience that you offer at Red Stick Bespoke concierge service? Because again, the first two guests were all about dealing with mental health and stress and anxiety and depression, and I promise you, the work you do also does the same for a lot of people.
Right, exactly. I would say I might not be in that particular field, but the things I do, it definitely helps alleviate stress and helps you live a better life. Helps you do what you want to do.
Right,
so whether that's, like I said before, being with your family or having more time to go to work and do the things you need to do to earn money for your family. So,
Right.
Yeah.
Do you feed horses and cattle?
I don't quite do that, but I'm sure I could find somebody to do it for you.
That's a stressor right now for me, is making sure that horses and cattle get fed.
I could find somebody to do it for you.
So, y'all, look up Cedric Septs, look up his company, Red Stick Bespoke. Let's support this brother's company. And I know probably most people want me to ask how much. I'm smart enough to know that it's according to what the task is
Exactly.
and how long it takes.
Exactly.
And so that's where you sit with Mr. Septs and you sit and you come up with a package or a price,
Right.
whether you need him temporarily for 1 hour today, or whether you say, hey, look, I want you to come by once a month and pick up my clothes and take them to the cleaners.
Right.
You know, so we're not going to, go into how much, because I'm sure it varies based on the service.
And it's definitely affordable, but how much is your time worth?
Exactly.
How much is the time worth that you spend with your family? To me, I think that's priceless.
I have no problem paying to relieve tasks off my to-do list.
Right.
Because what that allows me to do is to focus on high priority things on my to-do list, which hopefully have A, better satisfaction. The return is I have a better life satisfaction.
Right.
And B, more money.
Right.
If I'm able to going to the cleaners and fixing tires and cleaning out garages off my list so that I can focus on clients and their business and my business, then
That's priceless.
It's priceless. Exactly.
Right.
Well, thank you, Brother Septs, for coming on the show.
Thank you. Thank you for
God
having
bless
me.
your business. I haven't met anyone else that does what you do as a business. Again, I know a lot of folks who help people,
Right.
but to say that you've started a business helping people do things and run errands, I think that's a great idea. Listening audience, let's support this brother and what he's doing, and let's patronize his business. Brother Septs, let's look him up at Red Stick Bespoke SPOKE on social media and on website.com. You all have been listening to me, Dr. James Gilmore. Every Tuesday and Thursday morning, I'm right here from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. The show is What's Going On, where we talk about what's going on. And for the past couple of months, we've been highlighting small Black-owned businesses. I'm hoping you all watch these shows. I replay them on my social media page, James Gilmore. I also replay them on my social media radio show page, What's Going On. Please like the What's Going On Facebook page so that you can go back and listen and tune into all of the Black-owned businesses that I've had on the radio show over the past couple of months. And listen to the shows and spend your money with them. Let's keep that dollar circulating in the Black community. Okay? I'll talk to you all next week. May you have a fantastic rest of your day and a great weekend. Stay safe out there. Stay safe from COVID-19. Take care.